Marek Choim. Is that a good pronunciation, Marek?
I'm reacting on it, basically.
How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Christoph says hello.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a perfect day, actually even a perfect for flying, so who knows?
So you've been back in action again after the pandemic. Tell me what's been going on. You were at Lesno.
Okay, actually, everything is very, very extremely slow in the pandemic. I
Right.
mean, a lot of air shows are cancelled. A lot of things are just moving and postponing for the next year. Actually, there are only a few that's really happening. One of them I was Leszno. It's extremely nice air show, and the second will be in Szeged in Hungary, probably in 2 weeks now, 3 weeks from now, something like that. So, and there will be one more show in Poland that I'll probably will not be, but there will be one more show. It's mainly military air show. So I'm not still military, so.
Is that Gdynia?
Yes,
Yes.
it's mainly military this year. The previous year I was attending, it was a evening show and a day show and a lot of small general aviation.
Mm.
But this year it's mainly focused on the military planes.
It's a beautiful place, Gdynia. I was there 2 years ago for the
Oh,
night show. Wow, beautiful, beautiful place.
okay, so 2 years ago you were supposed to see me also at that time, probably.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about Leszno. That looked incredible.
Honestly speaking, I think Leszno it's one of the best air show in Europe in terms of the evening air show. I mean, if not the best, actually one of the best. San Nicola, of course, it's state of art in itself. But basically, outside of that, I think that Leszno it's absolutely amazing. It's unique, very innovative. Every year something new, very close to the people, very nice atmosphere, extremely nice atmosphere. I mean, don't tell them, but I would probably go there free of charge, but don't tell them that.
We're going to hear it now. And how is it with air shows like that? Such a big event, such tight schedule, when everybody's probably not as current as they could be.
Well, a lot depends on the organizers. A lot depends on the organizers. And in Leszno, the schedule was very tight. Actually, we were holding in the air just to get into the box on time. So really, the holding time in the air. So we just take off a little bit earlier. We were waiting, and everything was very, very precise. So so a lot depends on who is in the organizers team, how well they are prepared, how big experience they have, and some of the organizers are really excellent in that.
Tell me a little bit about your current display, what you do at the moment.
Okay, actually, I'm doing three types basically of display, where two are dominating. I mean, the one is a day display, which I'm doing a standard unlimited kind of a freestyle flying. The good thing about that one is that I do not have any additional weight, right? It's just standard airplane, so I can do full G plus whatever, plus 9, 10 G or minus, I don't know, 6, 7 G. So, and that's a pretty dynamic one. The next one is a small color smoke on the wingtips. That's also a day event, but of course, then the Gs that I can do there, it's much lower. So it's much closer to ballet,
Yes.
right? Rather than the very extremely dynamic day flight. But it's still there are a couple of freestyle figures, but they are basically designed in order not to have too much G on the wingtips because there is still some weight there. And the last one I do, it's a night event, and this night event consists of a couple of potential options, but basically it's a dusk event actually, so it's up to 30 minutes after the sunset, and then I'm doing the show up in the air, whatever it could be there, with the kind of a tail which is even 100 or 200 meters long with the pyrotechnics. That looks pretty significant. And close to the air. So I was doing the slalom, pyro slalom. So the slalom out of the pyrotechnics when I was flying in between with the pyrotechnics. So a lot of pyro there. This was this year in Leshna. I also did it in Saudi Arabia over the water. So there were pyrotechnics on the water when we were just flying the slalom there. And basically a low flying, like if there is any big kind of I don't know, the fuel is just big bumps, let's say that way, and I'm feeling ahead of it. So this kind of low level flying, I mean close to the air in the evening, it's also possible. So that's my three types basically of shows.
Being a display pilot is a great skill in itself, and learning all that and being current and challengeable with what you do is great. But then over the last decade, people have got to learn about pyrotechnics as well.
Oh yeah, actually yes, we do. I had to learn. I passed. I had to because there is no second person there. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Normally in the pyrotechnics, you have a second person who can load, push, touch, and make a big kind of a show. But the problem is in the single plane, I have to do everything myself. So I had to pass all these exams and training, how to use pyrotechnic and so on with all this permit. That's quite a bit of a knowledge, I must say. But yes, that's additional knowledge that that's required for this job.
How much time are you looking at for rigging to get the aircraft ready with the pyro?
Well, at this moment, it's not that long. I mean, the major preparation was getting the all approval. So permission kind of putting these wing tips, especially for pyrotechnic and so on. This took time because there is a flight kind of a test, which you need this all the paper done. So that took over a year basically in order to get this one. But before the display, if you have a pyrotechnics with you, the preparation is around 1 hour. So up to 1 hour, really. It depends how well you are prepared beforehand.
Yes. And designing what it's going to look like and the color.
Whole life.
Yeah.
Whole life. Every time you are thinking, what can you do differently? How you can fly differently to have a better perspective for the spectaculars. So it really depends of your imagination. So that part you are learning and improving the whole life.
Yeah.
As flying itself.
Exactly. Let's talk about flying a little bit, Marek. I want to find out how it all began for you as a little boy. How did the interest come? Did you know already, or?
Everybody are asking me, did you drink it together with your mother's milk or something, right? When you're born and you think about flying? No, I was totally different kind of a scenario. So if you ask, probably 99.9 says that his father, his mother, or whatever. In my case, it was different. I was not even thinking about flying 12 years ago. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I was not even thinking about it. So actually, no, I started thinking about it exactly 12 years ago. The month later, I signed up for PPL course, and then I finished the PPL course. Kind of a flying itself on the Cessna 172, it's kind of a boring a little bit. The good fun is of taking off and landing. That's a good part. It's a lot of things are going, but the cross country, it's kind of a, you really can speak with your friends, play the guitar or something, and watching, of course, around. That's important. But not a lot of things are happening there. So I started almost immediately. I started aerobatic, but let's say how it started. So basically, I was running the company. I'm still running the company, but I was running the company, and the team bought me a ticket for skydiving, for jumping with parachute, right? And there was a big certificate, Marek Choim invited for blah, 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 right? So unfortunately, I took the certificate home. My wife saw it, said, what is this? And I said, well, it's a gift. I'll have to use it. No way. You have to promise me that you will not jump from a parachute. I said, okay, I promise. So I went to the airport and I changed it for a flight. And this was the beginning.
Where was this? Which airfield?
It was Babice, Warsaw.
Incredible.
So I'm not sure if she's happy. Probably she would prefer I was jumping once and that's it.
That's a brilliant story. So, yeah, only 12 years ago. So,
Yeah.
how old would you have been then, Marek?
43.
Yeah. And did you have an idea you wanted to be professional, or did you just want to get into an aircraft and learn to fly? What
I
was
just
it?
want to get to the aircraft. I just, the more difficult it is, the more I like it, basically,
Right.
right?
Right.
So learning a new figures, especially freestyle. I mean, um, it's something absolutely amazing that you can try and practice how the planes behave different way. You know what I mean? It's absolutely outstanding experience, learning a new things. And after you do it 100 times and two of times it happens with the airplane that you never expected it can happen, then you might say that you start practicing this figure right.
Right.
And I just started. I just wanted to fly. I just wanted to fly because it makes me so much different perspective of everything around here on the ground. I mean, I'm always smiling of the after landing, whatever happens out there. Always smiling. It's making my life just much nicer.
So you didn't do any gliders with aerobatics, any aerobatics with gliders, I meant to say. You went straight with powered.
Actually, I finished my PPA license. I was at that time having probably 65 to 70 hours. And that was the moment when I jumped into the aerobatic aircraft, which was extra 300L. So no way in between, just go directly to the hard cookies.
Yeah.
And that was it. And it was pretty straightforward and it's possible. So Mm, sometimes I hear that it's very demanding. First, you need to go gliders, then you need to go to Zlin, whatever, to start some basic speed. No way. I mean, if you have a good instructors and you are enough motivated, you can jump from PPL immediately to the extra tile glider, go straight forward, have fun, and that's it. So
Who was coaching you at the time? Who did you get your best advice from?
yeah, that's a challenging part. That was Marek Choim. Mm, he was the one. Actually, the first introduction. I mean, my pilot, my instructor, who was teaching me during my PPL license was Piotr Lipinski, and he actually showed me, Marek, it looks like you want to try aerobatic. And I said, yes. So during my PPL license, he took me to one place when I fly the first aerobatic flight. And then he introduced me to Marek Choim, who take care about me when I was start seriously going aerobatic. And Marek was that guy.
Yeah, yeah, incredible. What a turn of events. And how long into it was it that you realised that this was going to become, part of your life? In experiencing, putting yourself out there with shows and with competition.
Well, it was developing. I never thought that it would be part of my life. I was just looking for something which would be my hobby and give me a pleasure.
Yeah,
And basically, I started, I got it, I just swallowed the pill. I mean, this pill appears to be absolutely um, kind of deducted to it, right? And it was more and more and more, and new things, new challenges, new kind of a maneuvers, and first air show, the second air show, then pyrotechnic air show. So it was developing. I mean, I was always trying to find something new
yeah,
in it. Hopefully, I found a good people, good coaches, good nice guys who actually introduced me to some new thing. One of them was Guy Westgate, which you probably know very well. Definitely a coach from Pyrotechnics, absolutely. Always putting you on the edge, pushing you go a little bit further. So yeah, I found a good people on my way to just get more and more.
Tell me about your first air show. When was that and where was it? And how was that for you?
Listen, my first air show. I'm not sure if I would like to fully remember what I did there. Definitely, it was Houston, Houston. So it was very, very high, very far, far away, and very, very safe. This was actually my first air show was a Babice air show. It was one of the two air show on Babice ever done. Not a very big event, but enough to start.
Yeah.
So this was my first one, and as I said, very high, very safe. And honestly speaking, at the beginning, the higher you do, the better. You will not surprise the people with the mistakes low.
Right.
So you better do not do them at the beginning. So I was kind of a lower through the time, but my first air show was kind of on the safe side, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. It's still on the safe side, but now people can see me better.
All right. And how did you get an invite or did you find your way in? How did you get involved with their shows?
Well, it was step by step. I mean, I was just start flying. I just love freestyle.
Yeah.
So it was mouth to mouth, basically, the kind of a process.
Yeah. Yeah. And tell me about your aircraft now. What have you got?
Okay, it's a extra 330 SC, single pilot. One of the best. I think it's a Formula One out of the aerobatic aircrafts. You can hardly find something which is flying better. Hardly. Of course, people who has a mix will claim that the mix is better, of course, but in terms of logistic, usability, convenience, I mean, I think, and the way of flying extra 300C is absolutely state of the art. Um, Formula One from the all aerobatic aircrafts.
Who do you admire, Marek, in air shows at the moment? Who for you is outstanding? Who do you look at and think, wow?
Well, from the air show perspective, well, from any perspective, Rob Holland is definitely the person, absolutely kind of a state of the art, let's
Yeah.
say that way. It's hard to beat him, especially with a couple of his maneuvers. I know he's doing something with the plane that I cannot do because I was trying to repeat a couple of maneuvers. But he's from Boris' perspective. He's a great pilot, great air show pilot, and absolutely inspiring me to learn a new figures and trying to do the figures he's doing. Which is the learning path. Of course, a couple of other pilots who are mainly competitive because I started competitions lately. Still no too many kind of good results, but this will come because it's a totally different way of flying. I mean, competition, but because there are less and less air show, I start spending more and more time for competition because I have to canalize somewhere, so focus somewhere my kind of a need of flying.
Were you in the last competition a few weeks ago?
Let's change the subject.
Okay. So what's coming up for you now? We're in the middle of the summer. We're into August. There's not much available at the moment, no?
Actually, I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to Szeged, which is in Hungary, in the beginning of September. So for the air show, and beside that, I will be mainly practicing and training competition. That's what I'm mainly focused. So I have printed all the kind of a World Aerobatic Advanced Championship or whatever, all the sequences, and I'll be flying all of them.
Tell me how. Anybody who's watching who's not aware, how is it different so much than air shows? I mean, obviously with air shows and freestyle, you've got your routine that you have to fly, but competition's a different animal. Can you tell me a bit about the difference?
Competition, it's all about precision flying.
Yeah.
So be at the exact place, exact moment, and not move the kind of a wings, be like precise. So if you are moving, you have to stop like this, without moving the wings. You have to go you have to make a certain sequence step by step. You cannot change it during the flight. So you have to memorize what you have to do. Then you have a very limited amount of time just to, so the better you memorize, the better for for the flight. You have to know a couple of behaviors in center figures, but it's all about very, very precision, short kind of a, with the deficit of time, let's say it that way, right? So there is a harmony there, there is a precision there, and it's all evaluated by the judges.
Yeah. Are you, do you have one particular coach who's helping you with the competition? Or are you doing it yourself? Are you...
Now I have majorly one coach, which I started actually late last year. So it's actually my first full year of serious coaching this year. And it's definitely different. The mindset is totally different to air show. I mean, air show, you are flying, at one hand you are flying low, but then can also change depending on the situation, right? So you have your sequence, but if you see that something is not correct, you can still change it, change the whatever, the direction a little bit, maybe the attitude a little bit. You're really making the decision as it goes. In competition, you have to pre-plan everything before.
Yeah.
You know where you start. There is no room for too many changes at all, right? So that's what I'm learning with my coach. That's actually the last year world champion in advanced aerobatics. So as I said, I have a lack of finding good people in my way.
Yeah,
So next year you can call me and I'll be in the first 10.
we'll have the medals around your neck.
And that's the final goal.
Yeah.
But first 10 is a guaranteed.
With the air shows, Marek, do you like to spend much time after your flight with the crowd and meeting the people? Do you enjoy that part of it?
Probably 15 minutes later, yes. But just immediately after landing, I just need to cool down. But 15 minutes later, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big part of it, isn't it? You know, you see that excitement in people's eyes. And...
That's what we are doing it. Why we are doing it? We are doing it for the people, just to have fun, to have a pleasure. I mean, so this is really closer to art than anything else, because it's a visualization, it's emotion. It's emotion what's driving it, right? Not even that much as precision of flying, but emotion that's connected with it. So that's what you are making. So, and that's why we are doing it, actually.
Yeah. So what would you say to somebody watching now who's not a pilot, in the late 30s, early 40s, thinking, I just want to be doing something else, I'm not quite sure, and they think, I wonder if I should start learning to fly? What would you say to that person?
I would say stop thinking.
Yeah.
Take a phone call, give to the first closest aero club, start on Monday, and you will be there.
Yeah, incredible. Marek,
it's easier than you think.
Absolutely incredible. What a great story. I'm so glad we had this conversation, because I had no idea that's when you started only 12 years ago. It's really phenomenal, to be honest, isn't it?
Thank you. Thank you. If you love it, I mean, it's going fast.
Yeah. And so next year, anything planned already, or are you just waiting to get this year out of the way?
Well, it looks like the emotion left in Leszno this year was so big they already invited me for the next year. So that for sure will be. And there are a couple of plans that maybe the Jordan, it depends if the Jordan will happen. Maybe we'll go to Aqaba in Jordan, which was canceled last year. Actually, the plane was there. Plane was there, and the pandemic starts and the plane has to return. That's a pity. So maybe this will return, and who knows what else. I mean, I'm not sure if there will be any Middle East kind of other air shows, maybe Saudi, I don't know, but definitely looking for Jordan, because it's a unique kind of experience.
And with Gdynia, why is it just military this year? Is it just because of the pandemic?
Basically budget probably issue, I believe, because military is kind of a different arrangement with the airshow pilots. And this year it's still huge. Don't understand me wrong, military, but it's huge. There will be so many different pilots from the world, but very limited number of general aviation aircraft. So there will be no evening show, no on the there will be not over the water, but just over the at the airport airfield.
Yeah.
So I assume that this might be one of the reasons that they make a decision to make it uh, differently this year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that, Marek, I will say thank you very much. Dziękuję.
Dziękuję. I also understand it.
It's been a pleasure. Spoko. Thank you very much indeed.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much.